Tonight on the podcast, Lance is bummed that his night out for two to see Corey Feldman and Fred Durst on the Loserville tour turned out to be denied due to counterfeit tickets. So now he's going to sit here and talk with you.
Welcome to my party. We're just getting started. A life is a dream.
It is... Oh, shit. Yahtzee. You're locked into a brand new episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Lance.
Almost went into the It's Friday Night in Phoenix.
Yeah, we haven't done that in a long time.
Even though we technically still record on Friday nights, this doesn't come out on Fridays.
They see us on Tuesday. So hello from the past.
Hello from the other side.
How's your night going, Matthew?
Dude, it's been a long week. I'm ready to be away from my children.
Yeah, are they just driving you up a wall?
Yeah.
So my wife, my son's got his first football game tomorrow, right? And we ordered cleats for him on Amazon. They were supposed to be here today. And we got a notice that it was that they were delayed till August 22nd. So I'm like, well, he needs cleats for tomorrow. So she ran out to Big Five, and all the other kids heard. And they're like, we want to come. And my wife's like, fuck, now I got to take all of them, right? She just sent me a text, like literally 20 seconds before we hit record. And she says, thanks for the butthole, Taylor. So apparently Taylor is driving her up a wall as well. So,
well, mine has just kind of been like no break away from him. I love my kids, don't get me wrong, but like,
oh yeah,
we went to San Diego, and then 2 days after we got back from San Diego, we went to Chicago, and we had the
Chi-town.
absolute worst fucking trip to Chicago.
Why?
And then, huh?
Why?
Oh, dude, it's like you could write this into a movie, man. So it starts off with our flight. We decided to fly Frontier because I don't know why, because my wife, I said my cheap wife. My wife thinks she's a bargain shopper, and so she wanted to fly Frontier because they were cheaper. So it started off with our flight being delayed twice. So
By
we were
how
originally
much?
supposed to fly out at 8 p.m. and land at 2 a.m. Well, we didn't end up flying out till 11:30 and didn't land until 4:30.
Jeez.
So we were going to her friend's wedding, the woman who married us, her wedding. The woman who married us before Kevin
Aaron
Smith.
used to work for her, right?
Yeah.
Same woman? Okay.
Yeah. So they were like, oh, well, we'll let you use one of our cars. All right, cool. Well, they gave us we were supposedly thought we were going to get their Volkswagen Atlas. And they ended up giving us some like tiny little Ford like car. And I'm bigger and taller, so like I have a tiny little Toyota Camry. So like in my car, no car seat can sit behind me because I have to have the seat so far back.
Yeah.
So we were like, that's not going to work. So we were rushing. We had her friend and her sister both looking for to rent cars for us. And because we weren't going to be able to use that little Ford they were going to give us. So we get on our flight. We land.
Which you're not unappreciative that she offered you a car.
No,
so it wasn't
not at all.
work.
Yeah, not at all.
Okay,
But
I just wanted to point that out.
yeah, no.
You're not an
so-
asshole.
No, it just goes into the story. So we land at Chicago O'Hare Airport at 4:30 in the morning, and we get off the plane, and we have to walk like almost 3 miles, and it's almost 3 miles because I looked at my step counter walk 3 miles from one end of the airport to the other. And so by the
Is that
time,
one? I've flown into that one before. Is it really long, like
yeah, it's
Michigan's
massive.
or Atlanta's? I can't remember which one it is, but it's long, right? It's not like
Yeah,
Sky Harbor where it's like wings.
right. No, it's like a massively long airport. So we walked from one end of the airport to the other and to get our luggage, to get the luggage. So when we get down to the luggage, after we waited for them to give us our stroller and car seats at the gate check, we walked all the way down to luggage, and we get there and the bags have already been put on the terminal and our bags are sitting behind the counter. And my wife goes, so I sit down because I've got bad knees, so I'm sitting with the kids, and my wife goes
Yeah.
up and she's talking to the security lady that's sitting there. And the lady's well, I can't touch those. You have to wait for someone from the airline to come down here. And that's if they come down here at all. She's like, they just left. And so she was like, you have to go up to the ticket counter to get someone to come do it. And my wife was like, I can see my bags right there. Just let me take them. She's like, I can't do that. And she's like, well, you give them to me. And the security lady's like, we can't do that. We can't let anybody touch these bags. We don't work, we don't talk to the ticket people. We don't do any of that. I can just call somebody for you. So my wife comes back to me. She's like, all right, well, I'm going to go and try to talk to someone. You can just wait here with the kids. And I was like, all right. So my wife met someone as my wife was going up, the lady was coming back. And my wife was like, are you coming down for baggage? She was like, yeah. And Aaron was like, awesome. So we got our bags.
What was the reason? I don't understand. Why were they not on the belt?
Because there's security, because they had already emptied the belt by the time we got down there, because we had to wait.
Oh, because it's 3 fucking
check.
miles.
Yeah. So we had to wait for gate check because we had strollers and car seats for the girls and all that. And so the way the plane was, when we booked the flights, like Aaron and I and the girl, because Logan needed a seat, we couldn't sit together. So I was up front and then she was a couple rows back with Aaron and Riley.
Is Frontier assigned or did you have to find?
No, they're assigned.
Oh, that's good.
So then by the time we get to baggage, it's almost 5:30 in the morning. By the time we get our bags, then we have to go all the way to the car rental place and through this Alamo car rental. So we get to the car rental place and it's like, oh, well, we're closed. Go see our partners at National. They'll help you get your car. So we go down to National and the National's like, there's nobody there. So my wife asked someone from Hertz, hey, can we get our car through you? And she goes, no, we're Hertz. We're not National. You want National, you have to go up to the 3rd floor and out to the parking garage. All right. So we go to the 3rd floor and out to the parking garage. And keep in mind all this. So I hadn't slept because we left at 8. We were supposed to leave at 8 p.m. Wednesday night. So we ended up leaving 11:30 p.m. Wednesday night. Got there at 4:30 in the morning, Thursday morning. And I was still going to work. I took my work stuff to work because I just used a bunch of PTO to go to San Diego and I didn't want to blow more PTO days. So
one of the joys of working remote.
Yeah, and I was supposed to work at 7:30 in the morning. So it's now 5:30 and we finally get to the car place. By the time we got the car, it's 6, right? So we get in we ended up renting a Volkswagen Atlas, which, by the way, amazing car. Makes me want to buy one. I think that's definitely going to be
great.
our next family car purchase.
Well, dude, you know me, I'm a huge Volkswagen fan, so the Atlas is nice.
So we get to the hotel and Aaron goes to check in and it's a Holiday Inn and the hotel lady's like, oh, well, you were a no-show. We haven't registered that you were supposed to check in at 2:30, so we marked you as a no-show. And Aaron was like, I can't help that our flight was delayed. Like, what do you want me to do about it? And she's like, I'm clearly not a no-show. I'm standing right here in front of you. And the woman goes, oh, well, we gave your room away because you were a no-show and you didn't check in and we're booked. So all we have left is, and so they gave us the last room they had and it was supposed to be 2 queens. So Aaron goes to go to the room and the door's propped open and she's like, oh, this is weird. And she opened the door, and there's a bunch of industrial fans going on the floor, like there was a flood, and it smelled like mold and mildew. So
Yeah,
she went back to the front desk, and she goes, "Yeah, this isn't gonna work. I can't have my daughters in that, and my infant daughters." And the lady with the front desk was like, "Well, that's all we have. So can't you just make it work for now? And then at 3:30, when we do turnover, come see what we have, and we can move you to a different room." And Aaron goes, "Absolutely not. It's not going to work. I have a 7-month-old and a 2-year-old. We haven't slept. I'm not going to have them in there with those fans going and the smell of mold and mildew. It's not going to happen." So by this time, it's 6:30. So the woman's like, "Well, I got you back in the system, even though you no-showed, but if they ask, just tell them that you showed up and something happened so you couldn't check in until X amount of time." So the woman's like trying to create this lie, like organize this lie with my wife about.
If they ask, I'm going to say, you need to fire that bitch up front.
And so they get us in a room with 2 double beds or 2 full-size beds instead of 2 queens. Well, by this time, it's now 7:00, and I've got to start work in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I have not slept. My kids have not slept. My wife has not slept. We get in the room. My wife goes to use the bathroom, and she goes, "Matt, the toilet doesn't flush." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "The toilet is not flushing." So she's like, "I think maybe just the chain in the tank came off." So I opened the tank, and not only is the chain laying in the bottom of the tank, but the flapper part that plugs the toilet is soldered to the tank, and that's busted off, laying into the tank, and there's no water in the tank, and water's not coming into the tank. So I'm like, great. So there's nothing we can do. I start work, my wife and kids go to sleep, and later on, I was like, we were right outside the pool, and I was like, I've got to jump in the pool or something to stay awake. So I took my lunch and I went and jumped in the pool for a little bit. And there's like signs all over the place. It's like, pool is only open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. No more than like 53 people in the pool at a time. Any outside guest, if you don't have a wristband, will be charged $250 swim fee. And I was like, this is ridiculous, man.
Welcome to Chicago, baby.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I feel like I'm forgetting something, but then we go in. So 3:00 comes around, and we're supposed to be getting ready to go to the rehearsal dinner. And all
Wait.
stuff.
So you didn't sleep. You started worked the whole day, and then you got to go to rehearsal. Then when are you supposed to sleep?
Yeah, right. I took like a 45-minute nap from the time I got off work because I started early just because, well, not that early, but I started at like 7 because we were there, and I was like, I'm already awake. I'm just going to start. So I ended up getting off a little bit early, but I took a little nap, and then we went to the rehearsal dinner, and then we finally get our room moved, but we got moved to like the opposite end of the hotel from where we're at. So everything was fine that night. Everything's good. The next morning, my wife's asleep. The kids are asleep. I'm sitting there in my underwear at the desk working. No shirt on, just in my underwear. And I hear a knock on the door. And then the door opens before I can even answer it. And it's maintenance. Oh, that's what I missed. So we told them we told the front desk when I went to the pool, hey, the toilet's busted. And they're like, oh, we'll get somebody there. I was like, well, can you hold off and wait till 3:00? Because my wife and kids are sleeping. They're like, yeah, sure. Then 3:00 came and went. And nobody showed up. 4:00, we called maintenance again. Nobody showed up. So now the next day, I'm sitting there working in my underwear, knock on the door opens. Maintenance, I hear you got a broken toilet. I go, no, dude, that was our last room. Oh, okay, my bad. And he closes the door and leaves. I'm like, what the actual fuck is this? Like,
dude, when I'm in the room, that deadbolt always.
Yeah.
Because of that scares the shit out of me.
Usually that's what I am too, but like they had these weird deadbolts, so it's like it came out like out and then over. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little flap.
So it still gave a little bit of room for them to open the door.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we didn't set it, but still, dude walks in and I'm in my fucking chonies working. And so
Did he come
then,
all the way in?
yeah.
So it
And
wasn't
he,
even like open the door and like talk to you
no,
through an open
he
doorway.
walked,
He came all the way
he
in.
came all the way in. And I was like, dude, that was our last room, man. And he goes, oh, sorry, my bad. And he walks out. And then I'm like, all right. So I go to fucking take my morning grumpy. And I'm sitting there taking my grumpy.
Yeah.
And the goddamn fire alarm goes off in the hotel.
What?
And my girls are still sleeping. And Aaron's like, Matt, do you hear that? Matt, fire, fire, fire. I was like, call the front desk and see if it's a false alarm. I was like, because I don't want to get up, wipe real quick, or even run off the toilet without wiping because there's a fire. So my wife calls the front desk and they're like, oh, yeah, it's just something wrong with the fire alarm. We got somebody working on it right now. There's no actual fire. Okay, cool. So then later on that afternoon, Logan was hungry and she's like, I want pizza. I want pizza. So we're like, all right, let's
Isn't
get
it great
Domino's.
when they learn how to talk?
Yeah. Let's get Domino's. It's usually cheap. They got that new New York style pizza. Let's get that. All right. So we ordered Domino's and the place is 8 minutes from the hotel. Aaron's got the little tracker on the Domino's app and it's like, oh, your pizza has been delivered. And we're like, there's no pizza here. Nobody knocked on the door. Nothing. So 30 minutes go by and Aaron calls the store and she's like, hey, we ordered a pizza. It hasn't shown up. It's not at the front desk, blah, blah, blah. And the woman's like, oh yeah, it just went out the door. The driver just took it. And Aaron was like, it's for Aaron and our last name. And she's like, yep, at the Holiday Inn. Yep. It's going out the door right now. The driver will call you when he gets there. Another 30 minutes go by. Aaron, no pizza, no call, no pizza, nothing. Aaron calls back the store and the driver answers. And he's like, oh yeah, I dropped that off like 30 minutes ago with the front desk because they didn't tell me where to go or where to take it or a room number. So Aaron gets dressed and walks down to the front desk and the front desk was like, oh yeah, it's right here. The driver didn't say anything to us. He just dropped it and left it. And Aaron was like, Aaron told the driver, she was like, well, we were told that you were supposed to call us. And he was like, nobody relayed that message to me. It's like, all right, cool. So our fucking pizza was cold. Everything we got was cold. And so that was pissed her off. And then we got,
Rightfully so.
yeah, we got in an argument. So we get dressed, we go to the wedding, and parking in Chicago is atrocious. So like they just rented out this like members only speakeasy for their wedding. And they did it in like their back patio. And so parking is all street parallel parking. So we're getting in an argument about parallel parking because we're both tired. We're both frustrated. And so the back patio has got like stone pavers. And then so it's like it's like a row
Like
of stone
cobblestone?
pavers. Yeah, so it's like blocked off stone pavers and then sod on the sides or wood chips on the sides. Well, like they had just watered it. You could tell it was just watered. So it was like grass, the pavers, and then the sod or the wood chips. So of course, the one chair I get is in the freshly watered wood chips part. I sit down, the chair instantly sinks, and I fall into the ground. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
In your nice ass clothes too.
Yeah, and I was so embarrassed because it just like I could like there were the only 2 seats left because we got there late, and it just sank right in the ground. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So I got help up and it shit and pulled the chair out of the ground, and I was like, I can't sit here. I was like, I can't do it. I was like, switch seats with me, but then we couldn't because we had the stroller. So I was like, screw it. I'm just going to stand up. So I just stood at the back while the wedding was going on.
Oh, and your knees are shit, dude.
Yeah. So, and then we're coming home and we return the car and everything's good like that on the way home. And they change our flight gate like 3 or 4 times. And then they delayed our flight 2 more times. And then they're like, oh, well, as they're boarding the flight, they're like, our crew turnover time is coming up where their crew can only fly for so many hours in a day. And they're like, we have X amount of time to get this plane boarded and out of here before we can't leave. We have to cancel the flight. So as they're boarding the flight, they're like, oh, we got to cancel boarding. A international flight came in, and they're unloading at the gate from us. But so to make sure that since they have to go through customs, we have to have a secure area. So we have to stop boarding and close all the doors. So then we're all standing there waiting.
Is this a Frontier problem or a
I don't know I think it's the Chicago O'Hare problem. But so then we're waiting. So we finally board and get home, and our flight we ended up getting home at like 10:30 at night on Saturday, but it was just like one thing after another. It's just kind of like one of those things where anything that could go wrong did. And
I got to tell you, like Chicago, so I lived there for a little bit in Palatine, which is really like a suburb of Chicago. It's one of my favorite cities as far as like things to do, right? Like it's just a cool old shit.
mm-hmm.
But as far as management is concerned, and like unions are really prevalent there. And so that turnover thing you were talking about, like that's, I kind of experienced that in Vegas as well. That's the same thing. Everything you're describing, like they just don't give a fuck, dude.
So
like that delivery driver, they're not conscientious enough. Like me, if I was a delivery driver, I'd be like, oh, my customer that ordered the pizza's not here. Why don't I give him a call? You know what I mean? Like, but that foresight doesn't like register to them, because to them, it's almost like they're owed a job. Like that's what it feels like. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not like here we feel like we're lucky to have a job, right? And there it's like, no, they have to hire me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the wedding was nice, but it was such just a piss poor experience that my 2-year-old kept saying every 5 minutes, I want to go home, Mom. I want to go home. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go home. And I was like, I'm right there with you, kid. I want to go home. Like, I didn't.
Do they live in Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Why did I think they lived in like Hawaii or something?
She did live in Hawaii, and then she moved to Chicago.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was nice for me being from the Midwest, being from Michigan. It was lovely to be back. Like it was hot and humid there, and everyone was like, "Oh man, it's so hot." Blah 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 blah. And Aaron and I were like, "This is nice. This isn't bad. Like we can actually sit outside."
I can't deal with the humidity.
But it was lovely to see the greenery, and it was just nice to be back on that side of the country. And I would love to live back there, but not necessarily Chicago. But
so you stayed in Chicago, in the city?
We were about 30 minutes outside of the city.
Because some of their suburbs, like Elgin and
they live. So where we stayed was about 8 miles from them, which was still 45 minutes by car due to traffic.
Oh yeah,
but they live closer to Wrigley Field, so like it was crazy trying to get in and out of there.
Yeah, like I lived in Palatine, which is like the suburbs are awesome, but downtown it's just like a different mentality. Like Navy Pier is like one of the best places I've ever been to.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. And I forgot, on the flight there was a Indian, the country, not Native American, an Indian gentleman watching gay porn on his phone.
Oh, I saw you post that on Facebook.
Yes. Watching hardcore gay porn. Like I'm talking like it was one dude like starfished out while another dude held his arms and legs while the other guy railed him from behind. It was the fucking wildest shit. And I was like, that'll teach me to ever look over at anybody's phone. Because it was like me, empty seat, and then him. And because like Frontier, if you get the front rows, there's more leg room, and they don't have anyone sit in the middle seat. So like I went to look out the window. Huh?
Why
just
don't
so
they
you can
put
have
any-
more room. That's like their business class. So I went to go look out at the window because I just left our car seat and stroller and all that on the ramp to get on the plane. So I was like, look, I could see that area. So I was waiting to watch for them to come take him and put him on the plane. And I went to look out the window and I just caught it out of my eye. I was like, dude, I can't believe you were watching hardcore gay porn right now.
Did you say anything?
No, absolutely not.
Dude,
But
I
I
would
was
have
just
bite
like,
my
dude,
tongue, dude.
I was just like, dude, this isn't happening right now. But
I would have
sorry,
been
I
like,
didn't mean to.
seriously?
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. I know you were.
No, but that's that, dude. You flew a red eye. Like the
Well,
weirdos come out
basically.
on the red eye, dude. Like, well, 8 o'clock at night flight is borderline red eye. Like most people are not flying
Yeah.
across the country 8 o'clock at night. So you flew practically a red eye because you left at 11:30, and on top of it, it was Frontier Airlines where the weirdos go anyways.
Yeah.
So
So it just.
that is hilarious.
So
dude.
then we come back, and 2 days later, so we get back Sunday or Saturday night into Sunday. Then Wednesday, my wife leaves to go. No, sorry. Then Friday, my wife
Mhm.
leaves to go to North Carolina to pick up this cat she bought.
She bought another cat.
Yeah. Well, we got rid of Gertie, so she got.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we sold Gertie because she's a fucking menace, and she bit Riley in the face.
Oh, geez.
So we sold Gertie, and then she really wanted another cat, so she bought another kitten from a woman in Virginia, but they agreed to meet in North Carolina, to make the exchange. So my wife flew out late Friday night, had a fucking so she flew from here to Denver, and she landed at Denver at like 9 o'clock at night our time, and then she had a long ass layover in Denver. It didn't leave Denver till 3:30 a.m. our time. Flew to
So she
North
was there for
Carolina.
like 6 hours, 7 hours.
Yeah, flew to North Carolina, got the cat, and was supposed to come. So by that time, it was Sunday. She got the cat. Or no, it was Saturday. And she got the cat, and she was supposed to fly out late Saturday night. Well, again, her flight gets delayed. And it gets delayed until 11 o'clock at night. Again, and she met with the same thing. We have 50, though. She said the woman came over to the PA and was like, our crew's hitting their max time. We have a flight coming in right now. We have 15 minutes to unload this flight and reload the flight, or we can't fly. So they did it, but she was supposed to go back from North Carolina to Denver to Phoenix. Well, in doing so, she missed her connecting flight from Denver to Phoenix. So now she had to wait until 9 o'clock Monday morning to fly back to Phoenix.
Jeez.
And so
this was Sunday, like
last Sunday.
Oh, we should have just told her to come with us. She could have drove. No, never mind. We didn't have a seat because we left.
So
we left Monday morning. Right? Yeah, we left Monday morning from Colorado.
So needless to say, I had the kids all Saturday. Or I had the kids, yeah. All Friday night, all Saturday night, all Sunday night. And then most of Monday.
And you had to pick her up from the airport?
No, she luckily parked at her townhouse, and her friend that lives there, in the same complex, drove her to and from the airport. So she had my car. But so and then we had to take our car into the shop because the rear passenger side door wouldn't open. and I yanked on
The
this son of a bitch.
Ford
And
or the
yanked on
Toyota?
on the Ford, and it wouldn't open. And then so I called the shop, and after the year you went to San Diego with us, her windshield washer fluid stopped dispensing anyways. So we were like, all right, well, let's go get the door checked out. And I rolled the window down to get the car seats out because I couldn't reach the clip on Riley's car seat, so I had to go through the window to do it. And I rolled the window down, and as I do, I was like, let me just try this. And I pull it, and it opens.
Oh, so the door handle on the outside was busted.
No, inside or outside would not open.
Wait, I thought you said you just pulled it.
I did. I rolled the window down after a while. I rolled the window down and then pulled the outside handle, and it opened. Don't know why. I took the car to the shop, and he was like, oh, well, it's open and closing perfectly fine. We can't recreate the issue. And I was like, all right, well, let's just fix the windshield wiper fluid thing. And that ended up costing me $370.
What was it, a pump?
No, it's just the lines were rotted. The lines that go from the tank up to the sprayer were rotted. And fucking shop labor was $196 an hour. So, yeah. So it's just been a week, like 3 weeks of just nonstop fuckery. And I'm so ready for a break. And like, so my wife works at night now. She's doing her virtual assistant business. So she's working during the day and then works for U-Haul at night for 4 hours. So I've had like the kids every night. I've been doing dinners and getting them to bed and all this shit. And so like, I'm just at the point where like, I'm tired of my kids and I need a break. I love them to death, but I need a break.
No, dude. And I'm going to say something. And if Max listens to this, please don't be angry with me, Max. But I'm around my kids often too. I haven't been recently because I had that week when my buddy was in town, right? And sometimes I need a break. Like everybody, moms and dads, we need breaks from each other and from our kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just how you stay sane. So sometimes I'll call Max and be like, hey, want to go hang out? And he'd be like, yeah, can I bring James? I'm like,
no, sorry.
Missing
Dude, like,
the point.
It's all right to just need some time away from your kids. Like,
yeah, well, he's got one.
But yeah,
it's like different for him, right? Because
right.
One kid, when you start duplicating them, it's a different experience, right? Like right now, my house is so quiet. It's fucking lovely, dude. Like, they're not here. They went to Big Five to go get football cleats. My house is so quiet. Every time we do a show, I can hear them yelling out there. Mm-hmm. No matter how much I say, shut up, they don't, it's just nice to have an hour to yourself, dude.
And then I had, on top of that, Monday I had food poisoning. So it was like, I'm fucking struggling with being sick and up all night, fucking shitting and throwing up and dealing with that.
Where'd you get food poisoning from?
I don't even fucking know. I think it's the Chinese food I had, but who knows?
I had one bad experience with some Chinese food, and I don't think I've ate any since. It's been like a year.
But it was
maybe Panda. Does that count? I mean, that Panda's more Mexican food than anything.
No, it's not. How's Panda Mexican food?
Because all the people back there making it are.
Oh, come on, dude. God damn.
No, I saw that joke on, I think it was like Family Guy or something like that.
You're not wrong, but enough about fucking my first world problems here. What about you? What's been up with you?
Well, we had a nicer vacation. We went to Colorado, went camping on the Grand Mesa. Have you ever heard of that? Grand Mesa? Yeah. Man, that place is gorgeous. But on our way up, we kind of left I wanted to leave at 4 a.m. because we drove. We ended up not leaving until 7:30, which kind of screwed us because we go through Telluride on the way up there because we're my in-laws live in Olathe, which is right outside of Montrose. So we go through Telluride, and I don't like going through that heavy wooded area at night because the deer are fucking crazy, right? Well, I'm driving, and I'm going slow because I'm pulling a trailer. and I'm just watching out for deer, and all of a sudden this little fucking bastard, like, I see him like in the corner. I'm like, this little asshole's gonna jump out. I know he's gonna jump out. So I slow down. I'm going like 10. He jumps out, slams into the side of my Suburban, right? I brake immediately, like smoke coming from the fucking
Did it
car.
do a lot of damage?
I didn't think it did. And it was fine the whole week we were there. Then when we were driving home, the wind must have caught my bumper because it like hit my bumper and it looked like it just needed to be popped back in. So I just like the little clips, like where the body line to the bumper come. There's like a split there and there's clips. It looked like the clips had just popped. So I pushed it back in. It looked fine. And then I didn't think anything of it. On the way home, the wind must have caught it and just pulled the bumper. Oof. And it just tore it like off the side. I have a picture of it that I'll show you later, but tore it off. And luckily, I think it happened pretty close to home because all of a sudden I felt like a wind resistance, but I couldn't see it in my, like the trailer was still there. So I'm like, okay, so it's probably fine. We didn't hit a flat. I couldn't see it in my side view because it was the side of the bumper was bent all the way back, right? So it was like basically flapping behind the car. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't see it. We get to the house. I look, half of our bumper's off. So I duct taped that all up real quick. I got to file a claim. I still haven't done it. And then we have a black car, so it's not as easily noticeable when there's like dents and stuff. Well, I go to my parents' house on Sunday. Yeah, was it Sunday? Yeah, last Sunday. And my brother-in-law is like, oh, damn, dude, that deer did a lot of damage. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's just the bumper. Like, it's no big deal. I got a quote. It's like $600. I wasn't going to file a claim. He's like, no, dude, you have dents. Like, that deer hit the side of your car and then hit and then hit and then hit. So, like, my door, like the door jambs all dented in. And you can't tell, the sun hit it just right when he was driving it up that he saw it fucked the side of my car up. But you can't tell if the sun's not hitting it just right, but it's like, it's fucked, dude. They're going to have to probably, there's like some Bondo and stuff. Like now that I've seen it, I'm like, oh yeah, that car now instead of $600 of damage, it's probably going to be like $4,000.
Well, they're probably going to just end up totaling it.
Well, the car's worth $30,000. So
what, your Suburban?
Yeah.
The one that you were just given?
No.
Oh.
No, that's my Lincoln. The one my uncle gave me when my Volkswagen got totaled.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that one. They definitely would total. No, this is my 2017 Chevy Suburban.
Oh. Okay.
My nice ass big black one. Yeah, so it's a car I definitely, if it was in the Lincoln and all this was fucked up, I would just cut the bumper off and call it a day. You know.
Dude, I hit a deer doing 55 miles an hour in Michigan when I was 17 years old. I was just driving in a Ford Escort, a little blue Ford Escort. I was driving on the road and the thing shot out of the fucking woods and right into the front of, like, right into my front fender and like somersaulted over my car and got up and ran off.
That's what was really funny. So I stepped on the brakes. I was stopped, put the parking brake on because we were kind of on an incline. I was pulling a trailer, so I was worried about drifting forward. I look at the car and I hear that fucker yelling at me like I fucked up. You know what I mean? Like he's basically, I hear him in the distance, and I never knew I could speak deer, but that deer was telling me to fuck off, dude. I'm pretty sure now that I've seen how much damage is there, I'm like, dude, I'm pretty sure he died.
Oh, he might have got up and ran off and died.
Yeah, because
they're pretty resilient little bastards.
Yeah, but the way I hit him, there's no way, because like I thought I felt the trailer jump. I think the trailer wheel like ran him over. Yeah. Which is not as heavy as a car. Yeah. Right? It wasn't a huge trailer. It's probably like a 6-foot trailer. It's not a huge trailer, single axle. I'm pretty sure it ran him over. And then I noticed the trailer's kind of sitting like this a little bit now.
Should have found him and picked him up and had venison for dinner.
I went looking. It was I could not find them. I was looking for them because I was thinking about that. I had a big tarp. I'm like, dude, if I find this deer, I could throw him, wrap him up in this tarp, throw him in the trailer. You know, my father-in-law has all the shit to fucking like, you know, process them or whatever, bleed them out and shit.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that. But dude, it is crazy how many deer. And I'm pretty sure it was a girl because it didn't have like antlers and stuff.
Doe. A doe.
Yeah, a doe.
Doe. A deer. A female deer.
We counted 26 deer driving in into Telluride, all on the side of the road and like in weird spots. I swear I saw one digging out of like a trash can, like in this small town we went through. But we counted like 26. My brother-in-law, who was also driving it and did not get hit by a deer, counted 37. And he went through Farmington, which has a lot more. But I think the difference is, so he hit a deer in my car a few years ago, which was a black Kia Sorento. I'm in a black Chevy Suburban. He came through, saw more deers in a white Dodge or whatever, Town and Country, you know, the little minivans, and they didn't hit him. Do you think that it's because my car's black? It's harder to see for them? Do you think that plays any role?
I don't know. I really
Because
don't know.
why wouldn't he get hit? He saw more. They didn't jump out in front of him, but my car.
It just depends on if they're spooked or if something was chasing it or whatever.
Well, she was just standing there. I saw her. I saw her head from the bushes just standing there, and I'm watching her. That's why I slowed down so much, because she probably hit me. I was going like 10, maybe 15. And I saw her, and it wasn't until my driver door got like almost past her and she jumped out.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I've had my dad was picking me up from a school dance when I was in high school, and we had a little Chevy Tahoe, and we were driving, and the deer came running out and ran head first into the tire. It just like literally smacked the tire and fell down. But
died.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they do, but
was
enough of our first world problems here.
Yeah, we've gone 42 minutes.
42 minutes of telling life shit. And, yeah, talking shitty experiences and not talking about anything going on.
I promise you guys, we had shit to talk about.
Craven trailer came out this week. Have you watched any Craven trailer?
I did.
It still looks like dog shit. And the rhino looks terrible in it as well.
Yeah, let me ask you about the rhino. So, obviously, I don't think it looks good. Okay, let me just preface that. But do you think this is better than the Paul Giamatti machine Power Ranger thing?
Only in the aspect of it's like, I can't tell if he's transformed into the rhino or if it's a suit like it's supposed to be.
Well, there's a scene where it shows his arm like.
Well, I think that's a misconception, because the other dude in the film is Craven's half brother, who is the chameleon.
Yeah,
he can shapeshift into other people. So,
maybe.
I think maybe that's what you're looking at, but
the image I saw, like his face, the rhino's face, looks like he's like some sort of mutant.
Well, because they show him in the scene with like the convoy, they show him as the rhino, and then there's another scene where he's just a normal person talking to Craven. So
yeah, well, because like, look at this. Like, let me see if I can share this. I wish when I go to Google I could make this like bigger. But if you look, does it not look like that's not a suit? Like, it looks very much. If I like open this,
yeah, it does kind of look like he.
Is there a bigger image of it? Here's the Paul Giamatti Megazord Dinozord thing, right? Which doesn't even like really resemble a rhino. I hate it. And then here's this. That looks like a transformation of sorts.
Yeah, it looks terrible. That looks awful.
Have you seen this image?
I have not seen the one of them in the front. No, I've just seen what was in the trailer of them like uprooting the car.
I think this is in the trailer, but it's like a blink and you'll miss it thing. But I just don't understand why Sony. Oh, this is something else. Why Sony doesn't understand this property. I just don't get it. The Craven movie, like when I saw from the trailer, I said, hey, this might have actually been a decent movie if Spider-Man was, if just name it something else. Like, don't include Craven lore, like, don't include Craven villains, like, just making a movie about, you know, some animal activist that goes crazy or whatever. Just completely separate it from all Marvel, you know. It looks like it could have been decent. But the fact that it's Craven, you know, and it almost seems to the point where they're bastardizing the character that is Craven, one of the coolest Spider-Man villains ever. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, Craven's fucking awesome.
I mean,
The
you
fact
just had
that
an amazing Craven story with the Spider-Man Sony PlayStation game that came out.
Explain to me, why don't just hire the dudes that wrote those games?
I don't know. I
hire those dudes.
Too. But
I don't fucking get it, dude. So, am I excited for the Craven movie? No.
Yeah.
Are they gonna dupe me into spending my money to go see it? Probably.
I'll wait. Dude, this movie will be on VOD in like 2 weeks, if that. It'll be like Morbius all over again.
How fast was Madam Web?
I don't know.
2-3 weeks.
Feels like it.
Feel very long.
But like,
you know what's funny is Madam Web. Go ahead.
Well, like Netflix brings these movies, so like Madam Web came to Netflix early, and there was another.
That's what I was about to say.
Came to Netflix early, and they put it to where like if you're on the lowest plan, the subscription based plan where they show ads, you can't watch the fucking thing. You have to pay. Yeah, you have to pay like their $15-$16 plan to be able to watch the movie. It's like this, due to legal obligations with the studios, this film cannot be displayed on this tier level. It's like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
I thought it was. Wait a minute. I thought those tier levels were how many simultaneous things you can have running. And whether or not you get 4K. Isn't that the only thing?
Apparently not. Apparently not.
And Madam Web's the only one that you've seen this?
No, Madam Web did it. There was another one. I'm trying to think of the other one that just came to Netflix. The other big one that just came to Netflix.
Ghostbusters?
Yes. Yes.
Both Sony.
So Ghostbusters did it too.
Well, these streaming networks are starting to piss me the fuck off, dude.
You might as well pay for cable because you're paying about the same amount now that you have to have all these streaming services.
And now many of these shows that are like big on these streaming services, they're now replaying them on cable network television anyways.
Yep.
What was the Yellowstone? No, it's not Yellowstone because Yellowstone started on network.
They started doing that because of COVID, or not COVID, because of the writers' strike, the writers and actors' strike. So they started showing stuff that was on these subscription services on network television because they had nothing to play there because of the writer and actors' strikes.
Yeah, it's the fact that Amazon Prime. So I was watching Batman Cape Crusader that we talked about before we hit record. It's showing me ads like in the middle of it. Like how is it legal for them? I bought this package, right? The whole thing was no ads. Like that's why we left cable. We were tired of fucking commercials, right? And now in the middle of my subscription, they can just suddenly add commercials.
Well, now you're getting making these $1 million plus shows per episode shows, like, and so they got to pay for that shit somehow.
But Amazon is one of the largest companies in the world, if not the largest company in the world.
Listen, that's how the rich stay rich, man. They don't spend their own money. So they're gotta push ads to get more investors. Same with Netflix, push ads to get more investors to be able to pay for WWE coming to Netflix, Monday Night Raw coming to Netflix in September or October or whenever it is, and fucking or actually I think it's next year, 2025,
I just
January
think
next year. But
I
anyways,
just think it minimizes the customer experience.
pay for the Jake Paul Mike Tyson live fight. Pay for the Kobayashi versus whatever hot dog eating contest that they got coming up, and pay for like all these other exclusive things like Ghostbusters. They're doing a Ghostbusters animated series. They got to pay for that. They got
Didn't Netflix just get the NBA, or who got the NBA? Because TNT lost it.
I don't know.
Some streaming service.
NFL.
Yeah, YouTube TV has NFL. What? I think it was Netflix that got the NBA.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to the NBA.
Amazon.
That makes sense.
So Amazon Prime on Friday and Saturday nights. Oh, Peacock. So Peacock's the other one.
So NBC.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
You know what's hilarious is I get it. Like they went after the money, right? And David Zaslav is to blame for this, right? TNT Sports, right? The Shaquille, Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, and Eddie Johnson, right? Is that who it is?
Yeah.
I know he's Eddie. I couldn't remember if it's Johnson or not. That's a multi-Emmy award winning show, right? Anybody that watches the NBA will tell you that that is by far the standard for any sport as far as it comes to after game like commentary shows, right? In the what's it called? TNT in the NBA, is that what it's called?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't follow the NBA, so.
But you know what I'm talking about,
I know
right?
the
Inside the
show,
NBA. It is the gold platinum standard for what these commentary shows should be, right? It beats out everybody else as far as Emmys. It's funny, like it's everybody that watches it says it's by far the best out there. And it's a big reason why the NBA has made such big strides over the last like 20, 30 years, right? Because this has been going for 34 years, inside the NBA. 34 years, it's been a staple of the NBA. David Zaslav says, oh, we don't need the NBA. Well, now what's happening? They lost the NBA. They're laying off people. They're closing studios, right? It just, people are pissed about it. To the point where they're talking about taking that same crew and putting them on Amazon or something like that. The same show.
I know Charles Barkley said I think he's done being a part of
the show.
he
did say that if because he owns a production studio or something like that. He owns like a production arm. I was reading that if he can get the rights for Inside the NBA in his production studio, that he'll continue doing it if he can convince the 4 guys to come. The problem is that Eddie Johnson, I think, has an exclusive contract with TNT. So TNT would have to then let Eddie out of his contract.
Which I'll probably do if they're not going to carry NBA anymore.
Yeah, but I think they got another sport, something cheaper.
But
they can put Eddie anywhere they want. Because Eddie's the only one non-basketball player out of all of them. Like, he's knowledgeable, but they could put him in any sport. He's recognizable across all sports. I don't know. I'm pissed about it. You know that there's games I didn't even watch, but then I would go on my TNT app or whatever and just watch the Inside the NBA commentary. Like, that's how much I like that little, what is it, an hour segment or something like that, where they talk about all the games from the day. Like, I would just go watch that. Like how you would watch like ESPN. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
nobody watches ESPN anymore.
Well, yeah, I know. But back in the day, we would just turn on ESPN.
Yeah. Watch Sports Center on repeat.
Yeah, how many times do they play the same Sports Center
They
episode a
play a
day?
lot. Yeah, a lot.
That's my
But
problem with cable, dude. Just fucking over, like the same shit over and over and over again.
I'm the opposite. Like I had left DirecTV a few months ago and went to YouTube TV, and because I wanted NFL Sunday Ticket, and I was like I could barely find anything to watch. I'm like, fuck it. I'll just go see what's on streaming, or I'll see what's on this, or
You're not finding things on YouTube?
I mean, there's stuff on YouTube TV, like it's basic TV, but there's like nothing on that I want to watch now. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm just gonna go see what's on Amazon, or see what's on Netflix, or see what's on Apple
Yeah.
TV, or I'll just start rewatching Ted Lasso for the millionth time. Or
I literally, when I had YouTube TV, I would start it football season. So right about now, I would start it up. And then what's nice about YouTube TV is you're not in a contract. I would suspend it. Like depending on if the Suns were in the playoffs or not. But typically I would suspend it right after football season, like February. And then I would start it back up in August. So that was nice that I didn't have it for that whole time. Now when I do it, it typically goes into June, and then I suspend it for a couple months because I just don't use it for anything other than sports. That's why I wish I could just pay for NFL Sunday Ticket, pay for like NBA League Pass, pay for these little sports things individually, because I don't need the rest of that shit.
right?
Everything that's on TV comes on streaming the next day anyways. If you have Hulu or Peacock,
Yeah.
there's nothing I'm missing.
Well, what we missed is D23. Did you catch up on everything coming out of D23?
I saw some stuff. What are you most excited for that you heard?
Honestly, nothing.
Really?
Yeah. So from what I'm hearing, they just showed. I mean, the Fantastic Four is interesting, and their suits look good. I guess it's a little tidbit extra you got there. I'm hearing that they just pretty much re-showed the same footage that they showed at San Diego Comic-Con at D23, like the stuff that's coming out now with like Red Hulk transforming in front of the White House. That was all part of the same trailer they showed at the Hall H panel at
Which now all that's
SDCC.
available on YouTube.
Yeah. So, really nothing about it got me excited. Like, to me, it feels like a step backwards. And I said this in the little nerdacy video I made on D23. Is it's a step backwards because it's all sequels.
Well, there
was like 2 or 3 new original IPs, but everything else is sequels. Moana 2, Toy Story 5, fucking Zootopia 2, Incredibles 3.
That's the one that I'm
Frozen
most excited for.
3, fucking
Moana.
Yeah, I said, didn't I say Moana 2?
Did you?
Moana 2, just like it's all sequels
or remakes.
Or
Lilo
remakes.
and Stitch, Snow White,
live action Lilo and Stitch, live action Snow White. Yes. So
I'm excited for Incredibles. I
remakes.
love Incredibles. I'm excited for that. I'm also excited. I'm not excited, but I guess you could say excited for Toy Story. I also think Moana is like one of the greatest Disney movies I've ever seen.
My wife is super stoked for Moana, and she's like, that's going to be Logan's first movie we take her to, because Logan loves Moana, and Logan loves Lilo and Stitch, so she'll probably want to go see the live action one too. But dude, I'm just like, original IP, man. Like, new IP. Like, are you so scorned by the events of movies flopping that it took you so long with the success of Inside Out 2? You're just like, oh, we're just gonna screw original IP. We're just gonna make guaranteed sequels that are gonna sell money. Because why are we going to Toy Story for a 5th time? Why are we going to the toys versus technology? Like, I thought it was pretty much a definitive ending at 4 when they're all split up. Or
yeah, that's what I thought. I don't know how they're going to solve that.
3 when they're all in a goddamn oven about, a incinerator, about, do you think they're going to die? And
did you almost cry on that scene?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Me too.
I have a heart. I'm not a heartless bastard.
They're fucking toys, dude, and I was crying.
Yes. But that's the thing is that Toy Story, the original Toy Story came out in the 90s. So like I'm invested. Toy Story 1 and 2 are my jam. Like those are my favorite Pixar movies.
3 and 4 were great too.
3 and 4 were great. But really the only thing that made 4 interesting was Duke Kaboom.
Yeah, but 3 and 4, the reason I think they still resonated with us is they started to get into the heart of it more.
Yeah.
1 and 2 like were very fun and things like that, but 3 and 4 like those, as we've grown older, so has Andy and now Bonnie, you know what I mean? So it's like easy to relate. Like those movies have aged with us. Does that make sense?
Well, not just that, but like that's our childhood, man. Like you can't tell me that after seeing Toy Story 1, you didn't like always look at your toys and action figures, your G.I. Joes with a side eye afterwards, be like, oh shit, are they gonna move when I leave the room? Or like that's nostalgia for me. And of course,
dude, I started looking at that app. They're Chucky, Child's Play.
Yeah, so of course I cried at that when they're all gonna go to the incinerator and the Lotso stuff. But
I'm scrolling on the site, and I want to make a point to your sequel comment that you made. I'm looking on the site. The only thing that I see that's original IP is Elio.
Well, Hoppers too.
I don't see Hoppers.
They announced that John Hamm, I can't remember who else it was. It was John Hamm and another comedian are doing an original IP called Hoppers.
Oh, here it is. Hoppers. Is it Pixar?
Yeah, it's Pixar.
Bobby Moynihan?
Yeah, it's Bobby Moynihan and John Hamm.
I like me some Bobby Moynihan. Now I can't say it. I like Bobby Moynihan. It's all.
Aaron watched the movie for the trailer for Moana 2, and she's like, "I really want to see it, but it scares me that it's not going to be good."
Yeah,
Moana. She's got a little sister now, and now there's a new big bad, and
Moana. I mean, my daughters are all super into Moana, and that one and Tangled, as far as like the new Disney animation stuff, right? All the new shit that's been out. I can't stand Frozen or any of those, but Disney or Moana and Tangled are those two movies, and Coco, but that's Pixar, I think, are two movies that I'm like, these are well-made, well-written movies, right? You could do these didn't have to be cartoons, and they still would have been well-made. Like it could have been a movie for adults, right? Mm-hmm. And they still would be well-made, well-written movies. One of them has The Rock in it, and it's still good.
Yeah. Well,
but
and then we get the original IP from The Rock and $7 Productions, Monster Jam.
Is that
wait Disney? For that fucking movie? Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on with The Rock, dude?
He's
got that Santa movie coming out.
Yeah, his star power is diminishing. It's called Being in Everything, so nobody cares about you anymore. Which, like, I was having a conversation with another YouTuber the other night, live on their show.
Are you cheating on me?
No, I was in their chat, and he was like, "There's no movie stars anymore. There's no certified movie stars anymore, like Tom
Ryan
Cruise.
Reynolds." I think Ryan Reynolds brings people in.
I was like, but not on the level of like Tom Cruise. Like Tom Cruise,
Keanu Reeves.
I don't even think Keanu Reeves is on Tom Cruise's level. But I was like, well, Glenn Powell might be the next big up and comer.
Well, Twisters made money, dude.
His response to me was, yeah, Glenn Powell is the next up and comer in remakes. That's all he can get. That's all he can get his job in remakes.
Well, no, he did Anyone But You, and it
that's like his
money.
Only like standalone. He was in the remake of Top Gun. He's in the remake of Twisters. He's in another remake that's coming out. They wanted him to be in the new Jurassic World movie, and he turned it down and said, I don't think I can add anything to this franchise. So he turned that down.
But he did Hitman.
Yeah.
Which Hitman was good.
So those are two of all of his movies. Those are like two of the only ones that are original IP.
Yeah, but what has Tom Cruise done recently? A remake of his own movies. Top
Well,
Gun. We're on
he-
Mission Impossible 6.
Yeah, Mission Impossibles and Top Guns and The Mummy.
And then he did The Mummy and it flopped. So I wouldn't even argue that. I don't think his name
Glenn
is
Powell
a draw.
was in The Dark Knight Rises.
As what?
I don't know. It's in his. I didn't know he was in that. It's in his IMDb.
Oh, was it when he was he was in stuff when he was a kid? Because I just saw this on TikTok. Is there anybody you think that their name would get you to go besides Tom Cruise? Because I think if I see Keanu Reeves on a movie poster, I'm going.
No, Keanu doesn't sell me like that, man.
Really?
I love Keanu, but he doesn't sell me like that. Like to his point, there's really nobody anymore where I'm like, wow, I've got to go see that movie because this person's in it. Like, it's more of like now to the point where like if the trailer catches my eye,
Denzel?
nope.
DiCaprio?
Nope.
You don't think DiCaprio?
What?
DiCaprio doesn't have like, but DiCaprio doesn't have like he doesn't do franchises, really. He does original characters, and all of his movies are well received, and people go see him.
But he's that guy that only makes movies for Oscars, Oscar noms. Like, what has DiCaprio been in lately?
What was the last one he did? Doesn't he have one coming up? Wolf of Wall Street. That was the last one he did. No. What was the last one he did?
What movie did he win an Oscar for?
That was Revenant, which isn't even his best movie in my opinion. What's the last movie that he did? The guy doesn't do any sequels, I don't think. All of his movies are Killers of the Flower Moon.
Okay. And that was on Netflix. That was a Apple TV movie?
No. It was in theaters for like 4 months before it hit Apple TV. I remember because everybody went and saw it. It was in theaters. I didn't want to go see it because I don't remember what was going on, but I wasn't able to go to the theaters.
Are you
and then
sure
it
that
finally
wasn't
hit Apple TV.
Are you sure that
No, but
wasn't a
Apple produced it.
simultaneous?
No, it was not. It was
feel
not
like it
because I
was.
want to say it came out like December. Yeah, it came out for Oscar season like December, and then it didn't hit Apple TV till like March. Same idea as what Disney does.
But now you've got all these big actors making the switch from doing movies in theaters to movies for streaming services. John Cena has had 2 comedy hits on Amazon now. With Ricky Stenicki and Jackpot.
So yeah. Well, I wouldn't say John Cena's like a movie star. I don't think his name. So Killers of the Flower Moon came into theater. It was theatrically released on October 20th, 2023. And that's a joint between Paramount and Apple. So that's probably why it went to theaters first. It's not just Apple. But let me see, streaming date. January. So it came out in October. It wasn't streaming till January.
Okay.
And there's a reason for that too, because it's my understanding that to get Best Picture nominations, it has to be exclusively in theaters for a certain amount of time.
Yes, it does.
So I believe that that's the reason why.
But
that some of these do that.
It's just, I don't know, man. Like, there's no one real. To me, it's not about. To me, it's about like. The story has to grab. The trailer has to grab me. Otherwise, I don't give 2 shits about it. Like, I'm to the point now where I love going to the movies, but if the story doesn't grab me, I'm not gonna go spend. I'm not gonna make the effort to look for a babysitter and go spend that money for me and my wife to go to the movies, just because, Denzel or Ryan Reynolds is in it. Like,
I guess that's it might be you, but I mean,
like
I
the
love
next
going to the
movie.
movies.
So do I. Dude, I would go to the movies every day if I could. It's the experience. I love cinema. It's changed for me since I moved to Arizona, because out here, like, you have all these theater chains, and where I grew up in a small town in Michigan, we had one theater called the Vogue Theater. It was a 2 or 3 screener with maybe 100 theater, if that. Like,
And that's how it was when I was a kid here. I mean, I remember we used to have to drive a distance to go to the movies. Like, it wasn't in our town. I grew up in Gilbert too. I think we went to like Mesa to watch movies. Now there's a movie theater on every corner, it seems like.
the next big movie I'm excited for that's not like Marvel or DC is the We Live in Time A24 Florence Pugh movie.
Andrew
That's-
Garfield is a name that I'll go see it just because it has
it's
Andrew Garfield in it.
and Florence Pugh.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The reason I want to see it is because those two are in it.
But
A24 is like making, because that's A24.
yeah,
A24 is the one studio that's not like
they're the
diving
Miramax
into
of
this
our generation.
franchise. Yeah.
They're the indie film makers of our generation. They're the Miramax of our generation before Harvey Weinstein was a fucking weirdo. But
Yeah. Or like New Line. Remember New Line was that?
yeah,
Many years ago. But A24, there's more, because didn't Miramax make Ninja Turtles?
no, I think that was
Miramax did have some franchise things though, I think.
I think that's new. I think that was New Line.
Was that New Line? Oh, Miramax used to be Disney, 1993 to 2010. Oh, Miramax is...
I'm trying to think of like
Miramax is
Miramax
owned by Paramount right now.
Listen, so here the hits Miramax made. All right. They've got Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, Scary Movie, Good Will Hunting, The Beekeeper, the original Crow,
Hellraiser,
From Dusk Till Dawn. They have like a lot of these.
Oh, Kill Bill.
Yeah. Children of the Corn. All the View Askew Universe movies. So Clerks, Dogma, Chasing Amy.
Not the new ones though, right?
No. The original Halloween movies. Scream.
Oh, they had
Air
Good Will
Bud,
Hunting.
the master Oscar winner, potential Oscar winner that was Air Bud.
Well, that's when Disney owned them.
Spy Kids.
Yeah, but if you look, they started getting into franchises. Like if you look, Bridget Jones, they made 3 of them.
Well,
Kill Bill, they made 2. Scary Movie, they made 5 of them, I think.
yeah, well, yeah, but they did, but they have started off as that kind of indie powerhouse.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, From Dusk Till Dawn, they did Scream. All these movies were like, Scream came out of nowhere. I feel like when that first came out, and had this whole following that it gained from it.
I mean, A24 is very much the same way. They had Everything Everywhere All at Once, Civil War, Uncut Gems, Lady Bird, Talk to Me, The Iron Claw, which I loved, Moonlight, Midsummer, Ex Machina, which I loved.
But I think the one difference is
A Ghost Story. They did a lot with Casey Affleck.
Oh yeah,
Ghost
absolutely.
Story, Manchester. I want to say was Manchester by the Sea A24?
Oh, wait, which one's is that? That's Casey Affleck.
Yeah, it's Casey Affleck.
No, that's Amazon. Manchester by the Sea.
Was it Amazon? No, was it?
I'm pretty sure that's an Amazon movie.
You might be right.
I'm pretty sure.
Because I know like The Big Sick was.
Yeah, it was Roadside Attractions and Amazon Studios.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
But okay, he was in Ghost Story, which is an A24 movie. So like A24 is kind of our generation. Well, even Miramax was our generation's Miramax, but it's kind of like this generation's Miramax, where.
But I would argue
making
that,
bangers.
yeah, but I would argue that A24 is more. Miramax had some that were like obviously like cash grabs, like they did Pokemon the movie and
Hill's mid-90s A24.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it was. I would argue that A24 is more into the artistry of movie making.
Of filmmaking. Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like many of their films are
A24.
deep thinkers. They're kind of art pieces. A lot of them. Miramax didn't have as much of that. Like I'm looking like Civil War, Maxine, which is a franchise, but it was like it's very much an artistry type movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't do. There's no IP that they're what's the word? Adapting. Like Miramax was adapting IP for some things.
They're not. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Everything is original IP for A24. And they've had some that were not bangers, A24 recently, like Love Lies Bleeding, I don't think did very well. Which is that new one with Kristen Stewart. But how many Oscars have these guys?
It's Kristen Stewart, so that doesn't surprise me.
They also, what I've also seen is they take big swings, right? Things that shouldn't work, like Bodies. Have you seen that with Pete Davidson?
No, I haven't.
That's a movie that you watch and you'd be like, wow, they took a lot of risk in green lighting this movie, right?
A24 is also involved with Euphoria, the Zendaya HBO show,
which is a powerhouse.
Yes, it is.
They did 8th Grade. That movie's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, mid-90s right here. Yeah, A24, it really, like when it's A24, I can watch it and know
they did The Room, Brie Larson's The Room. Not to be confused with Tommy Wiseau's The Room.
Which is also the Brie Larson's The Room. Is it Room or The Room? Brie Larson's
Room, just Room.
I would argue that that's probably their first big one that got awards, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Man, they come out with a lot of movies.
Oh, that's right. The Whale. I forgot about The Whale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you look, so they started making, it looks like their first movie was made 2013. And in these movies in the beginning they were making movies that were headline grabbers. So if you look like Spring Breakers, you remember that was the big one of Selena Gomez is ditching her child persona.
Frank Jameso.
Yep. And then they did The Bling Ring, which was like Emma Watson ditching her child. You know, is that Emma Watson? Is that Harry Potter, right?
Yeah.
Emma Watson. Okay. Yeah, that was her ditching her child persona that she's built, right? They did Tusk. Tusk is a movie that if you read the synopsis, you're like,
A24 did Tusk.
Yeah, Tusk is a movie. If you read the synopsis, you're like, who the fuck greenlit this?
And it was all just bullshitted on a podcast, on one of his Smodcast episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would be doing his new movie, the 4:30 movie. I'm stoked to see that in a few weeks, but it's going to be
Yeah.
Saban. I wish it was
Is he doing a
A24.
road show for that?
No, Saban's doing a theatrical release for it. He
But no
will be
road show?
here. He'll be here in Phoenix doing an evening with Kevin Smith. I want to say in September. I can't remember the dates on that, but he'll be here in the relatively soon.
They did Swiss Army Man.
Yes,
Remember
they
that
did.
one?
Yeah.
Which is also a movie that if you read the synopsis, you're like, who the fuck greenlit this? You know what I mean? But it
Yeah.
worked. That was Daniel Radcliffe's first, like, hey, I'm not Harry Potter. I'm a serious actor. Swiss Army Man was kind of that one that it's like he was taking big swings. You know what I mean? He tried up until that point, but Swiss Army Man was the one that put him on the map. Yeah, A24 is fantastic, man. I mean, they took Adam Sandler and actually made a decent argument for him to, I just realized my camera's off. Actually made a decent argument for him to be Oscar consideration.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not until December, it looks like. December
That works better for me.
28th.
3 days after Christmas?
Yeah, he's doing a evening with Kevin Smith at Stand Up Live.
Yeah, I'd like to see that, but no showing of his new movie.
No. But so A24 has been nominated for so as of the 95th Academy Awards, A24 has received a total of 55 Academy Award nominations and winning 16 overall.
Which is pretty impressive, being that they've only been a studio for 11 years. Their first movie came out 11 years ago. That's a pretty good batting average, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
But yeah. But to roll it kind of back into what we were talking about, though, like, I don't understand why a studio like Disney just isn't taking the chance on more original IP. And is it just that their numbers tanking a little bit have them so spooked that they're just gonna do remake after remake after remake or sequel after sequel after sequel, when notoriously sequels don't do well? But Disney's all about just, they've got their IP that worked. Moana, massive hit. Let's make Moana 2. Frozen 1 and 2 have been massive hits. Hey, let's go 3. The same with The Incredibles. Same with Toy Story. 4 did good. Let's do 5. Lilo and Stitch. Well, that we've already milked that franchise. Let's bring it to live action. And so it's like, come on, man. Like, I wanted more out of the Disney Pixar side, and we didn't even really get any big announcements out of. We got the announcement of we're getting season 2 of X-Men 97, which we already knew, and they're gonna wear the Grant Morrison X-Men suits. Whoop-de-doo. We got Daredevil. We already knew we were getting that. We've pretty much already known a lot about coming out about Born Again. Andor season 2, which I know you're probably excited about, and some Star Wars fans are, but I could give two shits about.
Season 2 of which one? Andor?
Andor. The Skeleton Crew. Man, I'm kind of out on Star Wars now, man. After the Acolyte and that whole debacle, I'm out on Star Wars, except for Mandalorian and Grogu. Like, I'll go see that movie in theaters, but otherwise I'm out on Star Wars. So, like, really nothing to come out of D23 excited me.
Yeah, I mean, so you were talking about sequels and stuff, and I had this thought, and then we started going into something else. This decade, or this iteration of Disney, reminds me a lot of what Disney was doing in the mid 90s, right? So Disney was grasping at straws, right? They were coming out with movies like Brother Bear 2, that, like, a lot of these went straight to video, right? They were all sequels. Do you remember that? They would have like Little Mermaid 2, and it was about Ariel's daughter, and that one went straight to video, right? They were all like these half-produced sequels. Return of Jafar, Aladdin 3, you know what I mean? Like, all these straight. that's what this iteration of Disney like all they were coming out with was sequels. And every so often one would bleed through, like Tarzan, which Tarzan was, or Hercules, highly underrated at the time, now considered to be classics, right? But at the time, they did not do anywhere near the money that like Aladdin or Beauty and the Beast did, right? Because Disney was kind of seen as like an afterthought. If they're not careful, it's going to happen to them again. If they don't start coming out with original shit, it's going to happen to them again.
Well, add another one to the remake title for old Glenn Powell, as he's, I guess, was cast in pre-production for a remake of The Running Man.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Which I thought, Running Man is Arnold Schwarzenegger, right?
Yep, and Stephen King.
I'm pretty sure that Arnold Schwarzenegger was advocating for Chris Pratt on that.
Probably
Chris Pratt's another guy. Yeah, Chris Pratt's another guy that needs to fucking find some original shit to get in with. But he's got other stuff. He's got this Chad Powers, Monsanto, Huntington, The Best Man's Ghostwriter. Oh, that's podcast. But he's got some other things, but sometimes these guys need to pay the bills. And most of these people want to be on these like Comic-Con circuits because that's where a lot of them make their money, right?
Well, yeah.
Like that's Marvel. A lot of these actors were getting into Marvel shit because these Comic-Con circuits, like when your career isn't really doing much anymore, these Comic-Con circuits like keep you afloat for a lot of these actors.
Oh yeah, just look at Corey Feldman.
Yeah, or everybody cast in the Power Rangers after Mighty Morphin.
Right, that's true too.
I mean, I can't name a single.
Over, they could just do the con circuit and
pay their bills.
Yeah,
but I can't name you a single person after Power Rangers Zeo that was starred in Power Rangers. Zeo's the last one with Tommy, right? Was it Zeo?
No, Dino Thunder. He was in Dino Thunder.
Oh yeah, he came back. He was like a scientist or a doctor or something like that. But
Dr. Tommy Oliver.
Back in his like regular cast member putting on the suit fighting days, relevance.
It was Mighty Morphin, then
Turbo, and then
Zeo, and then they went to space. So yeah, he was Zeo was his final.
Yeah, and then it was like 4 or 5 iterations, and then he came back as like a scientist, I think, because they call him Dr. Tommy Oliver. I know because my son watched it.
Yeah. But
which, you know what's funny about Power Rangers? I know we're getting off on tangents here, but what's funny about Power Rangers is there's so many iterations of Power Rangers right now that are like current and recent. Lex, who's my 10-year-old, about to be 10, watches Mighty Morphin like on repeat.
He can't mess with the classic, man.
Yeah, but he's 9, bro. He doesn't turn 10 till October. Hey. And he watches Mighty Morphin as much as I did when it came out, and I was his age.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. That's
no, I'm just saying that. Isn't that funny? Like
keeping the kids on the classics.
It's just interesting.
It is.
But I think the thing with Glenn Powell is that he's trying to like make himself a household name, and it's finally happening. And to do that, like nowadays, you can't do that unless you're cast in a Jurassic World or a movie with Tom Cruise, Top Gun, or some sort of remake that's like, is going to be a slam dunk. Like he has to do those things to supplement some of these other original things he's doing. That's the day and age we live in, right?
I love me some Glenn Powell.
I think Glenn Powell's awesome. Like he just seems like a good dude. That's what I like too. All these actors and singers and stuff, a lot of them that are getting really popular right now, Glenn Powell in the actor space, Ryan Reynolds, and then on the musician space, like Post Malone and who was the other guy Anna and I were just talking about. But these dudes seem like good dudes. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they're
Post Malone in Roadhouse.
was he in Roadhouse?
Yeah, he was in the new
The
Roadhouse.
Jake Gyllenhaal one?
Yeah. He was at the very
I
beginning.
watched that like opening, like the first day it came out, and yeah, you're right. But they just seem like good dudes. You know what I mean? That's what I like. Like this decade has felt like the rise of like the decent dude. You know what I mean? You look at Michael B. Jordan, right? He seems like a decent dude. Glenn Powell, Ryan Reynolds, Post Malone. There was another one I was just thinking about that's big right now that I don't know. I can't remember now. But the dudes that like stick to their values and don't sacrifice them and like for the sense of fame, right? Like you look at some of these other guys that from our childhood that got really famous and you're like, dude, that dude's probably got skeletons in his closet, right?
Yeah.
Like Post Malone's just out here. He's like, yeah, I live in Utah because Mormons are my favorite people. That's what he said. He's like, hey, you know, I did the R&B thing and all this other stuff, hip hop or whatever. I'm going to go put out a country album just because I feel like it. Oh, hey, we need to raise cancer, or we need to raise money for childhood cancer. So I'm just going to do an all-day stream of Nirvana covers with Travis Barker.
Yeah.
Did you see that when he did that during COVID?
Yeah.
Like, he just seems like a fucking cool dude, man. Well, you brought up Glenn Powell. So do you want to talk about Twisters real quick and then call it a night?
Yeah, we can.
Because we kind of went over a
Yeah.
lot of the shit.
I love it. I loved it, honestly. Like, Twisters is a good movie. It was it had me hooked right from the rip. So I was actually a little mad because I was watching on your Plex last night, and in the middle of the movie it starts fucking buffering. And it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, God damn fucking Lance, his probably computer went to sleep, so I can't finish my movie.
No. What I've been dealing with some internet shit since last night. So you probably hit it. I think I like even now, hopefully I haven't been buffering as I'm talking to you. Even now, my I had to move like that little pod that's over here, the wireless pod. I've been dealing with some shit since last night. I don't know what's going on, but today my computer just lost internet like 5 times while I was working. So
But
that's probably what it is.
like,
what I
even
would
in,
recommend, dude, is if you're watching them, like I gave you permission to like download shit. So just download it from my Plex account.
Well, no, I watch it on my TV or something if there's nothing else on, and I saw Twisters, and I'll be honest with you, I've been going to Plex looking for Deadpool, Wolverine, and I was like, ooh, Twisters.
Yeah, don't expect that anytime soon.
And I was bored, so I was like, I'll check that out, and so I was watching that, and I've been waiting for that and Bad Boys Ride or Die, which I saw is finally on there. But
yeah, do you know I downloaded that a while ago, a week before I left, and forgot, and I left my computer on the whole week for you, and forgot to hit update on Plex, so it was in my account, but
so
sorry.
But yeah, Twisters was interesting. It had no connection to the original movie.
One connection.
What?
The very beginning, when they're driving out to see that first Twister, they have Dorothy in the back of their truck. That's the only connection. So the original machine that they send up in the air.
Yeah.
That, remember he's saying, hey, don't hit that. It's like an artifact or whatever.
Yes.
That's the one from, it's Dorothy 4 or something like that. That's because they had 4 Dorothys in the original movie. They only used 3, I think, if I remember correctly.
Well, like, I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen the original. Like, I expected
we watched it a day or two before.
Helen Hunt's character to be her mom, or like to have some sort of connection like that.
At least like these are Twister enthusiasts, right? And what they did in the first one, because we watched it a couple days. We knew we were gonna go see this, so we're like, okay, before we go see this, let's watch the original. It's been about 25 years since I've seen it, right? And I thought that at least like being Twister enthusiasts, the two main characters, that they would like be reading some article or something, and then a picture of Helen Hunt would be like she would be the author of it, like to
Yeah.
that extent, to make no mention except for the fact that Dorothy is there, the machine. Zero connection, or a connection that Bill Paxton, who's the original star of the original Twisters, who died just a few years ago, no mention of his like just in like kind of an in memoriam thing. Like I thought that
Yeah, like
was
you could have
interesting.
him be like her dad and be like have pictures of him sitting there or something. Like there was nothing. There was no mention of him, anyone really from the original movie.
In fact, her
But I
only
really
infatuation
liked,
is that her actual dad in the movie got sucked out by a Twister. That's what
yeah,
caused all it.
yeah. But it, and it was an interesting movie, man. I would definitely recommend watching it. It was a fun watch. It was an intense watch. Uh, I liked the cast a lot. I think Glenn Powell was great in it as the cocky YouTuber turned storm chaser. Um, I
He's
like the
kind
chick
of a
who
mix
played.
between like Beast and like Logan Paul.
Yeah, I like the chick who played Abby because she was the chick from Sabrina. Um,
Which she's only in the movie for like 5 minutes.
right.
The
Spoiler
main
alert,
girl,
asshole.
Daisy. Hey,
Edgar
if they're
Jones.
yeah, Daisy Edgar Jones. She's from Where the Crawdads Sing,
Yeah.
which was pretty good. I guess if you're a fan of the book, it wasn't good, but I'd never read the book, so I thought the movie was good, and I like her as the main character. I think that this opens the door to potentially do another one. Don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think they kind of like tease it at the end because she's getting ready to, spoiler alert, she's going to get on the airplane to go back to New York, and Glenn Powell's character chases her into the airport.
Vestibule.
And Javi's outside still, and it cuts to them like a storm brewing, and they're getting ready to go chase more Twisters together. They like take off running out of the airport. So it definitely gives you the feeling that there's going to be another one.
Well, I'm assuming there will be because this movie made really good money. I think it like they had opening weekend expectations and it like doubled it.
But like I was kind of skeptical on even seeing it. I was like, when I saw the trailers, like I have no interest in this. But it was just one of those times where I saw it on Plex. There was nothing else on TV. My kids were both playing, so I was like, I'm just gonna put a movie on and watch it. And I ended up watching the whole thing and having to stop to eat when we ate dinner, and then went to try to go back and watch it last night. And then I got hit with the never-ending buffer, so I just shut it off and watched it this morning. But I really liked it, man. It was a fun movie. It was different. It's not a thinker. It's just a fun popcorn
Oh
flick.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And if you like Glenn Powell, I thought he was charming and added a nice nuance to the movie. And I would definitely say check it out.
Well, I was going to say something to you. Oh, my one regret for you that I have for you is the fact that you didn't see it on the big screen, because it's definitely a big screen movie.
I mean, I could still go see it in theaters if I want to. It's still playing in theaters.
Yeah, but now you've seen it, so it's like the luster is kind of gone. But it is definitely a big screen movie.
That doesn't really make a difference to me, if I'm being honest.
No,
like,
just with all the sound and stuff, like the
Yeah.
immersive experience. Like there's certain movies that
I mean,
I'm
unless you're going to,
grateful
like,
that I experienced.
4D and they're blowing wind and spraying water at me. I mean, I don't really know how much more immersed you can be. But
You know what I wish they had here? Speaking of 4D, I saw John Wick 2 or 3. I don't remember which one it was. The one where he's on a motorcycle. It's like racing through. Do you know which one I'm talking about? It's either 2 or 3.
I can't tell if it's 2 or 3.
Max and I saw it in Colorado, and they have these things called D-box seats.
Yeah, where the seats like move.
That was fucking awesome, dude. Wouldn't
Yeah.
watch every movie that way. But when he's weaving through traffic on that motorcycle and your chair's going like this,
Yeah.
dude, that's an immersive experience. That was fucking awesome. They only have one here. Like, I think it's like it's Surprise or something. But I don't know. You ever get a chance, try that. But yeah, man, I was gonna say, yeah, Twisters was great. It was a popcorn flick. Anna and I both, we loved the soundtrack. It was very much true to that Oklahoma, Texas. It's all country music. Like, it was very true. They didn't pigeonhole like any stuff in there that didn't fit the aesthetic that they were trying to build. You know, that Old West. I don't know if you call it Old West, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So they were very true to themselves. I think they knew they wanted to make a fun movie. The original Twisters has more of the science stuff. That's the one departure with this movie. This movie is more spectacle and performance driven, whereas the first movie had a lot of the science stuff. There was not a lot of twisters in the first one. I mean,
Well,
there
I think
is
this one had a good
obviously.
amount of the science.
It
aspect
did.
to it.
It did, but the other movie was like focused on the science stuff. It was less about spectacle and more about the sciencey part of it.
More about testicles and wallet and watch.
So yeah, that's my thought on it. I hope they make another one. I loved it. One of the top movies I saw this year, not named Deadpool and Wolverine. Now another movie I saw today that I was going to tell you is the Blake Lively movie. I recommend everybody. That one you can wait for to come out. It's not really a movie theater type movie, but holy shit, that movie's heavy, dude.
I'll wait for it.
Yeah, wait for it, but definitely when it's available to you, like watch it.
I will.
It's well made. I know there's some controversy between Blake Lively and the male actor from Jane the Virgin who also directed it. But it is very
controversy.
Good. Right? But do you know that movie, like, it came out, did 50 million, like, opening, like, it beat out so Deadpool had been out for like 3 weeks, and that movie actually did more than Deadpool its weekend.
Yeah, but I think Deadpool still was the box office winner for the weekend. I don't think anything's knocked Deadpool out of first place.
I thought that movie did, and now Deadpool's back in first place. That was my understanding, but maybe it was just like opening night, like maybe it was one night that it beat the other one.
Yeah, it might have just been opening night, because let's see. Box office numbers. Deadpool and Wolverine is down 44%, but it's still raking in the movie. It ends with us as Deadpool and Wolverine grossed 53,774,969 this week. This ends with us grossed $50,016,665.
So $4 million difference.
Yeah, Twisters is bringing up the third place at 15,001,575. Borderlands with a disappointing 8,601,572. Despicable Me 4 down 34% or 30% at 7 million. Trapped, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, is bringing in 6 million. Inside Out 2, 4 million. Harold and the Purple Crayon, 3 million. And,
that's a shame. I want to go see that one.
I'm hearing that it's been getting terrible reviews.
Did you read that when you were a kid?
No.
That book?
No.
Oh yeah, my mom used to read me those books. It's been getting bad reviews, but it's a kid movie. So like, is it getting bad reviews for a kid's movie?
It's just getting bad reviews across the board.
That's a shame. Despicable Me 4 got bad reviews, and I watched that the other night with my daughter and thought it was great.
I haven't watched it yet. But then you got Bad Boys Ride or Die still pulling 191,000. But
Yeah, it's
So Twisters
It's
is still going strong, pulling in the box office in third place.
well, that's what I was gonna say. That's interesting because it's available to rent right now in your house.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's still going strong is pretty impressive.
But if I switch the daily, so today for the 15th, well, so for yesterday, the 15th of August, Alien Romulus is at the number 1 spot with 6,500,000. It Ends With Us is in number 2 with 4,902,000, and Deadpool and Wolverine is in third place with 4,587,000.
That's just today.
That's yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah, they haven't released the box numbers.
It's pretty impressive that It Ends With Us is this romantic. It is romantic, but it's not. It's about domestic violence, right? But there's it's that kind of movie, and it's kind of holding with some of these like popcorn type movies, right?
Yeah, so the worldwide box office on that movie is as of right now is 103,784,697.
It Ends With Us.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive, dude. Like, I think it's pretty impressive. I wonder what the budget was for it.
Deadpool Wolverine's worldwide box office is $1,085,616,895.
What did you say It Ends With Us was at? 103?
It Ends With Us's box office is $103,784,697 bucks.
Do you know what its budget was?
What is it?
25 million.
Oh, so it's
It
definitely
made back its money.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty
then
impressive, dude. That's pretty impressive. And there's been controversy surrounding Blake Lively and the actor. I can't remember his name right now.
Twisters worldwide box office is 316,628,245.
Let's see what their budget was. 155 million. So the break even. I wonder if it's broke even yet.
The domestic box office was 228,629,315. International box office is 87,998,930. So it's not doing great internationally. But
do you think it's because it lacks star power? Glenn Powell is not known enough yet?
no. I just think other parts of the world probably don't have the fascination with tornadoes that we do here, you know? But it could be star power. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Because Glenn Powell is still kind of unknown if you think about it, like maybe to outside the U.S.
Yeah, I think
Top Gun wasn't shown in a lot of. Yeah, go ahead.
Another day.
Yeah, we've been on this a little longer than we intended.
I think it's time.
But that's what happens when we have
is.
good conversation.
It's time to end here. Let us know in the comment section below. Do you think Twisters didn't do well because it didn't have star power? Do you think Glenn Powell is nothing more than a remake machine? Do you think? Are you excited for what Disney announced at Disney D23? Do you think they should have made some original IPs, or do you like all the sequels that they announced? Let us know in the comment section below. While you're there, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you get notifications every time we upload a video or go live. And with that, for this week's episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast, I'm Matt.
I am Lance.
And we'll see you guys around the corner next time.
Matt's taint.
No, not my taint. It's humid down there. And
I was just trying to finish your sentence, so I thought that's what you were going to say.
It's pretty humid and swampy down there.
All you freaks and geeks, come all you freaks and geeks,
Let's listen to Absolute Geek.
Absolute Geek.
We'll go ahead and spread our cheeks
Spread the cheese.
and drink
And
some
over for
Cosby
Absolute-
wine.
We'll
Come
drink
on,
some
you
Cosby wine. It makes me feel real fine. See you next time on the Absolute Geek.